Hi, I'm Stan The Annuity Man, America's annuity agent, licensed in all 50 states, including yours. Today, we're going to talk about QLACs, Qualified Longevity Annuity Contracts. Now, I've written a book on QLACs, QLAC Owner's Manual, and I'll send that to you for free in this gold foil mailer, which I throw over my left shoulder. The good news is you're going to get all my owner's manuals. Just go to theannuityman.com and sign up there. We'll ship them to you for free and under no obligation. But what are we here about today? It's not rental, producer. Rental is a shirt. If you're a rock and roll person, you know what it is. Frank Zappa's shirt. I digress. This video you're getting ready to see was shot years back in Philadelphia with my good friend Gary Baker of CANNEX, who provides theannuityman.com all of the contractual guaranteed quotes using our calculators. His company, CANNEX, is the aggregator of that. And when it comes to annuities, he's forgotten more than most people will ever know. So I wanted to reintroduce this video along with a series of videos I shot with Gary a long time ago called the CANNEX Series, I guess we can call it. But before we do that, let's listen to my intro music, which everybody loves now. One warning though, before we get to the video, we're getting ready to go to the CANNEX video. I don't look like myself. I know you're saying, Stan, there's no way you can look better or worse, depending on what you're thinking out there. I had this goatee, I had a shaved head, I look militant. I don't know what I was into at that point in time, other than annuities, but it might have been music I've been listening to at that time. Regardless, the content's really good. You're gonna learn a lot about qualified longevity annuity contracts so you can make an informed decision on your terms and on your time frame, and hopefully you'll use us to get the quotes. So with that, let's go to the video. We're talking about qualified longevity annuity contracts, Gary, QLACs. What's the LA stand for?
Not Los Angeles.
Not Los Angeles, it stands for?
Longevity annuity.
So in essence, this is a deferred income annuity, which is also called a longevity annuity.
Right.
But a little bit different. Interestingly enough, and just a little bit of history on this for the people, 2014, our friends at the IRS and the Department of Labor said, hey, we want to help. Isn't that interesting? And they designed this product so that, in essence, it was designed for the young people with 401ks to plan for the future, for future income needs, instead of just relying on Social Security. Right. Now, the good news about that is that people with traditional IRAs, non-Roths, can also take advantage of this. And really, in essence, it's an income later product. It comes from the SPIA, which then is the DIA, right, the deferred income annuity, and now there's an offshoot of that deferred income annuity called a QLAC. Tell us a little bit more about a QLAC and kind of where it fits and the rules in place for it.
Sure. Well, as we talked about in a deferred income annuity, if you want your income later with non-IRA money, you can extend that first payment all the way into your 80s, if you like, for various reasons.
Right, in a non-IRA
account. In a non-IRA. With an IRA account, well, the government's going to want to start taxing you at 70.5.
I call that tapping you on the shoulder and going, oh, by the way, we'd like our taxes now.
Right.
But QLAC is an asterisk. They're going to say, we're going to give you a little wiggle room there. What is that wiggle room?
Well, now with my IRA money, I can also now defer this into my 80s as well and get the same benefit of this contract. So essentially, the IRS has given people a pass.
So the rules are, you have a $125,000 or 25% of your IRA total assets, whichever's less. Non-Roth. Roths don't count. Traditional IRAs.
Right.
So in essence, you got a $500,000 IRA. You put in $125,000 to QLAC, and you can defer as far out as age 85, but you don't have to go to age 85. You can go to 80 or 77 or 72, whatever. But you can defer out to age 85. But when you go take your RMD calculations, instead of on $500,000, Gary, it's going to be on $375, which means you're going to lower your RMD taxes. Now, when that income starts with the QLAC, that income stream for that QLAC is going to satisfy the RMD for that specific amount of money. But this is a legal way to lower your required minimum distributions.
Right.
I mean, and tell me a little bit about, sorry to interrupt you, but tell me a little bit about, is it the same structure payment-wise as a D and a SPIA?
Yes, it is. It's off the same product construct, and essentially you're transferring risk again, and you're getting your principal, interest, and your mortality credit back again, as we call the last man standing type of credit.
Okay.
And so again, the reason why we're talking about this product separately is because we're looking at the tax impact that the tax relief that the government's providing you to deploy this type of contract in that manner with your IRA money.
I think it's important for people to understand what I like about QLACs and with my clients is you can add your spouse as a joint payout person. You can literally create a joint pension with your spouse using your personal IRA, even though you own the IRA. I think that's fantastic. I know my wife likes that because she, when my Learjet hits the mountain, she wants to know that income's going to continue uninterrupted and unchanged, and that's what you can do with a QLAC. So where does it fit? Let's go back over where it fits, because it's a narrow lane. With a deferred income annuity and a single premium immediate annuity, wide lane, IRA, non-IRA, defer, all this stuff. QLAC, we got a narrow lane. What is that lane?
The narrow lane is using your IRA money. If you have a majority of your savings,
Non-Roth. Okay.
Majority of your savings is in your 401k
Okay.
or an IRA, you can convert this into a deferred pension.
If you want to. There's a lot of people out there that say, you know what, if I didn't have to take RMDs, I wouldn't from my IRA. This is a way to also, in my opinion, combat inflation. And what do I mean by that? I mean that you have income starting at a future date. You don't know what inflation is going to be, but you're going to have more income starting at that future date. I really believe that's how to use annuities for inflation. What are some of the limitations of this product? I mean, because obviously all annuities are contracts. They all have benefits and limitations. What are the limitations?
Well, the government is giving you this opportunity, but you can only put $125,000 into the contract at the most.
That is a limitation. A lot of people say that's not enough, but it is what it is, the law, right?
Right,
Okay.
absolutely. But like other income annuity products, there's some limitations, or it may not be as flexible. Again, if you want liquidity, there's some rules and provisions in there, but again, you have to look for them, and they may not be as flexible if you change your mind.
No market growth, no interest rate growth.
Right.
But it is what it is. I've got a theory about that. I think that the government didn't want to make it very liquid because they didn't want people to change their minds. They wanted people to plan for a future pension plan, and they didn't want people to pivot and say, you know what, I don't want to do that, I want a boat. No, you don't want a boat. You want a future pension plan, and that's, I think, why they made it a narrow lane and not irrevocable, but hard to get out of.
Right, and that's a great point. Whether it's a QLAC or deferred income annuity or immediate income annuity, these are disciplined products, if you will. So you have to make the commitment to hold on to it to get the benefit that you're hoping to receive.
And you also have to make a pragmatic choice about allocation and proportion. You don't want to go all in with all your money. You got to make sure that you have some money liquid, etc. And I think also too, we're going to see the QLAC premium amount rules increase over time, but it's not going to be huge. So 125 is currently what you can do. And if your wife has an IRA, she can do a QLAC. If you have an IRA, you can do a QLAC. And then you can do it joint life or whatever. Misconceptions, are they the same misconceptions as we see with a deferred income annuity, since this is a deferred income annuity you use in an IRA?
Right.
And what are those misconceptions?
Well, that it's irrevocable, if you will. Again, you have some flexibility around making some changes. If not cashing out the contract, but again, if you want to change your start date around that payment, usually you have one shot to do that. Again, if your plans change as far as when you're going to look to retire.
And the common question is timing interest rates. Everyone wants to be an interest rate guru. Nobody on the planet is. Same thing applies for QLACs.
Yep, absolutely.
And the reason I think for that is QLACs, deferred income annuities, and single premium immediate annuities, which are the three that are solving for pensions, whether it's income now or income later, the primary pricing mechanism is life expectancy.
Right.
So in other words, you're saying, hey, I think I'm going to live longer than you think I'm going to live, and if I do, you're on the hook, the annuity company, is on the hook to pay.
Right.
And that, in essence, what a QLAC, it's a future pension that you can use in your IRA, and my clients love adding the spouse, whether they like them or not, Gary, they add the spouse for future income joint life, which I think is a big deal because everyone likes income coming in, right?
Sure.
Let's look at some quotes.
Okay.
Let's look at a couple QLAC quotes. What have you got?
All right. Well, let's take Robert, our 65-year-old in Texas. In this case, let's look at a single life contract for Robert.
Okay.
And let's say he's going to defer that payment with his IRA money. So
Okay.
or that's better yet. Let's say he rolled over his 401k.
Got it.
Money. There's $125,000 from his 401k.
Okay.
And at age 65, he put into one of these contracts, and let's say he's going to defer that first payment 10
Let's
years.
stop for a second. If he had $1 million in IRA, it's 125.
You can only put 125 into this.
Okay. If you had $100,000 in IRA, you put 25,000, right? Because it's 25%
Sure.
of the total IRA asset, or 125,000, whichever's less. Let's keep going.
Sure. So at age 75, if he were to put in $125,000, he would get $1,300 a month, as you can see here, right on kind of an average
for the rest
of
of his life.
For the rest of his life.
Lives forever.
And this is with a cash refund too. So
Learjet hits the mountain. What happens?
Beneficiaries get the rest of the cash.
So the wife goes and calls the insurance company. They send her the check.
Right.
Perfect.
Exactly.
Add the spouse. What happens when you add the spouse?
Well, that's if you add the spouse, that would certainly decrease the payment. But let's before we add the spouse, let's kind of push this out another 20 years. Let's say he truly wants to defer that.
Let's let the money cook.
Let's let the money cook for a while. Let's say it's 20 years.
Okay.
Let's push it all the way out to the maximum that the government's going to allow you to defer that. Let's say it's 85 years old.
Got it.
So let's take a look at that. Now, if I wait another 10 years, instead of at 75, at 85, I'm going from $1,300 a month to, as you can see here, $3,600 a month.
Wow.
So that's almost tripling the payment by another.
So when people say, you know what, Stan, Gary, the money's not growing. I'm not seeing any growth. Hello.
Right.
Growth, that seems to be growth to me.
Right. And you could, like to your point, you could see that as inflation protection as well at a later age.
There you go.
Now, let's get back to your original question around joint. So
he likes his wife.
Or tolerates her.
Or tolerates her and wants to put her on the pension plan within his IRA.
At 85, yes.
Okay.
So at 85, 20 years, if it was single life, it was $3,600. If we add married to the contract, that payment goes down to $2,300. $2,300 is still a whole lot more than $1,300.
So he dies, she goes to the funeral, does a fake cry,
right,
goes to the bank.
Right.
Same payment?
Yes.
Beautiful.
Same payment.
See, that's called marital bliss in a QLAC form.
Right.
That's beautiful. Gary, let's wrap up QLACs, Qualified Longevity Annuity Contracts, that haven't been around that long. And we're talking about 2014 when they were first introduced by our friends at the IRS. Notice I said they're friends.
Yep.
Friends at the IRS and the Department of the Treasury to help people in a qualified plan, traditional IRA, non-Roth, to plan for future income. Hey, what I like about it is it reduces your RMDs, your required minimum distributions, legally, right? And it also allows you to start income at a future date, as far out as age 85, and you can add your spouse whether you like them or not, right, for income, which is good. $125,000 is the max, or 25% of your IRA. I think this product, Gary, has the potential to be the #1 selling annuity type on the planet. And people say, Stan, you're crazy. That might be right, but everybody that has a traditional IRA should be getting a CANNEX quote for a QLAC. If you don't, you're missing the boat because it's a pension product and everybody needs more income. What do you want people to know about QLACs?
Well, I think especially in the situation where most of your savings are wrapped up in a 401k or an IRA, then this product gives you the ability to defer past that required RMD, if you will. So if that's your need, you want to let it cook at the insurance company and not turn it on until way past that required minimum distribution date, then this is the right product for you.
That's QLAC poetry. I'm Stan The Annuity Man.
I'm Gary from CANNEX, and we'll catch you next time.
All right, how good was that? I mean, yeah, I looked a little younger. I was a little bit more spry, but I wasn't as wise as I am now. Right, producer? Exactly. Now, order the book, go to my site, theannuityman.com. We can get you a QLAC quote, quoting all carriers. And if you say, hey, Stan, which is the best QLAC out there? I don't know that until we quote it, period. Because annuities are like plane tickets. You shop them all to get the best deal for you. Now, don't forget to look at this video. It's another CANNEX video that Gary and I shot. There's a series of them. I would encourage you to take a look at all of them, but that one's a good one as well. And also, too, remember that you can always talk with me. I know you're saying, but Stan, you're this guy on YouTube. You're this mythical figure that just I see. I don't know if you're real. I'm real. And if you call the Annuity Man, go to theannuityman.com, you can set an appointment to speak with me one-on-one. I know you found that just hard to believe, but every single recommendation that we put out, I'm behind it. And most of them, I'm talking with you because I want to understand your situation. I want to understand exactly what you're trying to solve for, and you can do that by talking to me. So with that, click the subscribe button. I'll see you on the next Stan the Annuity Man video.